I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. Generations from now will look back at this moment and have a single question. So tonight I rise in an unusual way. I rise with the intention to stand here until I can stand no longer, until I'm physically unable to stand anymore.
Welcome, Senator Cory Booker, everyone.
The record has been broken for longest speech, at least on the U.S. Senate floor. For full disclosure, the person doesn't have to be speaking all the time. The person can take breaks when another member of the Senate asks a question, and those questions sometimes get drawn out a lot to give the person a rest. But the speaker has to be standing all the time. So it's still impressive that Senator Cory Booker stood on the stage and spoke for nearly the whole 25 hours and 4 minutes. That is quite a feat when you consider it's hard just to stay up that long, and the person has to be standing and thinking for most of that time. And it's no surprise to me that the record holder is now a vegan. Before showing you the beginning and end of the speech, I want to show you Cory talking about being a vegan from a few years ago.
Seriously, I actually became a vegetarian when I was still a college football player. Going back to the corporate consolidation that we're seeing, where the farming practices are becoming so perverse.
How you doing, brother? I'm so good to see you. Thank you. Wow, look at the reception. So, this is a land of barbecue.
It is.
And you're a vegan.
I am.
What's that like?
What's that like?
How's that been for you?
It's been a great experience for me, for well-being. You know, when you come from a family that literally owned a soul food restaurant, my mom and dad, it may have caused some trouble, but now they understand that for health reasons, it's a good way to go.
I rise today in an unusual manner, and I want to be clear and explain that, but I just want to tell you what John Lewis said. It's a quote so many people know, and he really spoke not to members of the Senate or the Congress. He was really speaking to Americans. He said, "Get in good trouble, necessary trouble. Help redeem the soul of America." So tonight, I rise with the intention of getting in some good trouble. I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. Indeed, conversations from in this body to in this building to across my state, and recently in a travel across the country, Republicans as well as Democrats are talking to me about what they feel is a sense of dread about a growing crisis. Those bedrock commitments are being broken. Unnecessary hardships are being borne by Americans of all backgrounds. And institutions which are special in America, which are precious, which are unique in our country, are being recklessly, and I would say even unconstitutionally affected, attacked, and even shattered. In just 71 days, the President of the United States has inflicted so much harm on Americans' safety, financial stability, the core foundations of our democracy, and even our aspirations as a people for, from our highest offices, a sense of common decency. Some students may be unaware of the issue as they anxiously await acceptance letters without fully understanding the role national politics is playing in those decisions. Some faculty are grappling with admissions that are paused and then unpaused, while others say they are receiving little information or guidance from leadership. At the University of Southern California, and as a former Stanford football player, it's hard for me to talk about USC. At the University of Southern California, faculty in some departments were told last week to pause admissions and not formalize offers to students. Even those who had visited and been given verbal acceptances. The awkward part is that we are already told these applicants that they were provisionally accepted and invited them to an in-person recruitment day. Many have already purchased a flight and made hotel reservations. I mean, that is just cruel. Jennifer Unger, a professor who runs a doctoral program in health behavioral research. And tonight, my friend, in the wee hours, so many songs about 4 in the morning. It's like the hour that, that nobody should be awake. And I want to thank the presiding officer for being here. I want to thank the clerks and the parliamentary staff and the impositions. But the cries of American citizens for their leaders to do something different, to stand up, to speak up, I felt like this has to be done. And so let's keep going. Almost 10 hours in, I'm thankful, but we're going to start the next section. And like I'm trying to do in all of these is I'm trying to elevate the voices that don't get to come to this place. When 73 million American seniors who rely on Social Security were to have that promise mocked, attacked, and then to have the services undermined, to be told that there will be no one there to answer if you call for help. When our seniors became afraid and worried and panicked because of the menacing words of their president. Did you speak up when the president of the United States did what amounts to a car commercial for the richest man in the world right in front of America's house, the White House, when the president tried to take health care away? Where were you? Did you speak up? So many heroes before us would say that this is the time to stand up, to speak up. This is the time to get in some good trouble, to get into necessary trouble. I can't allow this body to continue without doing something different, speaking out. The threats to American people and American democracy are grave and urgent, and we all must do more. We all must do more against them. But those 10 words, if it is to be, it is up to me. All of us have to think of those 10 words, 10 two-letter words. If it is to be, if it is up to me, because I believe generations from now will look back at this moment and have a single question. Where were you? Where were you when our country was in crisis and when American people were asking for help?
Democratic Senator Cory Booker is just about to break the record for longest filibuster. We want to look at this live right now. This is a live look at the House floor. The New Jersey senator has officially been speaking for about 24 hours and 19 minutes straight. There was a small break with a chaplain that came in for a while, but he has been going nonstop.
Would the senator yield for a question?
Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
Ladies and gentlemen, order. The chair does not wish to take away from this moment, but I think the best way to honor this great accomplishment to our guests in the gallery, to make a rare exception and let you stand to show your appreciation. I will not constrain my fellow senators.
Thank you. Chuck Schumer, I have yielded for a question, and you asked me, did I know? I know now. I want to not quite wrap this up yet. I don't want to wrap this up yet. My mom's senator. My mom's been watching. I know Catherine Cortez Masto has a podium in front of her. She can give me a rest. I'd like to go a little further if we can, just a little further. I love, and again, I know people are trying to train each other, and all of our media operations, they give the worst images of the people of the other party. But I want to tell you, one of the funny tweets my staff gave me is something Ted Cruz said. Is he's around 19-20 hours, he said, maybe I should pull a fire alarm. He's going to break my record. I'm going to pause in a moment if she has a question for me to Catherine Cortez Masto, because she's my mother. But I do want to just say again, 2 points to make if I can. One is how grateful I am to my staff. When we decided to do this many days ago, Chris Murphy again, Pam and my family, cousin Pam, like Chris Murphy, was here for the whole time. I want to thank Chris Murphy again. Who never stopped telling me we could do this, we can do this, we can do this, and said, I will stay with you. He's been with me on the floor. I hope you don't look as tired as I look, because you look beat, man. Do I look that bad? No. All right. I want to go a little bit past this, and then I'm gonna deal with some of the biological urgencies I'm feeling. The power of the people is greater than the people in power. It is time to heed the words of the man I began this whole thing with, John Lewis. I beg folks to take his example of his early days, where he made himself determined to show his love for his country at a time the country didn't love him, to love this country so much, to be such a patriot that he endured beatings savagely on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, at lunch counters, on freedom rides. He said he had to do something. He would not normalize a moment like this. He would not just go along with business as usual. He wouldn't know how to solve it. But there's one thing that he would do that I hope we all can do, that I think I did a little bit of tonight. He said for us to go out and cause some good trouble, necessary trouble, to redeem the soul of our nation. I want you to redeem the dream. When our founder said we must mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. We need that now from all Americans. This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong. Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
But for people who don't know, you had to stand the whole time. You couldn't take a bathroom break. The only break of any sort you got was if one of your colleagues would ask you a question to give your voice a break.
Yes.
How are you feeling? Yeah, physically and also emotionally, the longest speech in the history of the U.S. Senate.
Well, I'm physically not in the best shape, but I am emotionally just feeling really fed right now and grateful, and kind of just really grateful for a lot of the people who lent support to the effort, and obviously the constituents, the dozens and dozens of folks who gave me their stories, who gave me their hurt, their pain, their anger, their demands of me that I read, and their really humble offers that tell me what I can do. It was some very moving speeches, and then some of my colleagues
came on the floor and just told them very emotional stories too that really sourced me through the whole challenge.
It was obviously a very emotional experience. Just one more question on the physicality of it, which is, you were a football star at Stanford University. You're 56 years old now, but you were a football star 20-something years ago. Was this more difficult than being a football star and taking some of those hits on the gridiron?
It was just different, my friend. It was just different. This was real, physical challenge. I had to think of a lot of strategic things to do in order to prepare for it. And then
you weren't filibustering anything. You were giving this speech, so not to block legislation, but I want to know, what do you say to somebody who says, well, why were you doing this? Other people have done it to block legislation. Ted Cruz did it to try to stop Obamacare. I think he was doing it in 2013, maybe. Your friend, Senator Chris Murphy, who was there with you the whole time, did it to try to get some anti-gun legislation votes. Tell us the purpose of this.
I think we're really at a point in America where things are happening that don't sit right with people of both sides of the aisle. I did everything I could to read from Republican governors, from the Cato Institute, from the Manhattan Institute, all talking about just the insanity of trying to pass a budget right now that's going to blow the biggest single president record for creating more debt, more deficit, giving tax cuts that are disproportionately going to go to the wealthiest Americans who don't need that tax cut. And then all the while gutting things like Medicaid. It just makes no sense. There's so many things going on by this president who is trashing our allies, bullying Canada, who is in many ways just violating judges' orders, trampling on our Article I powers. So I just wanted to give a speech that said that this is not normal and we can't normalize it. And all of us have a responsibility to do something different, to take some risks, to be there for each other and to try to ignite a larger movement in our country, the kind of movement that stopped Donald Trump from taking away the Affordable Care Act. And perhaps together, collectively, if we all speak out.
And he didn't make any money for doing this. This kind of thing comes straight out of passion and a sense of ethics. People give these long speeches to try to create some kind of positive change. And of course, being a vegan, so we can assume this guy is a highly ethical, decent person. Which brings us to, what was he speaking about? What was he trying to accomplish here? Basically, the whole entirety of the evil that is Trump. And the fact that a person can speak for 24 hours on what's wrong with Donald Trump and the things he is doing just in the last few weeks. When Biden was president, we could go a few weeks and not hear anything bad. We're in serious trouble here. And he's trying to wake people up to that. Either America's got to do something to stop this now or soon, or you're going to have to face something worse later on. All right, that's it for this video. I'm going to make another video on this, so be sure to watch that, share both videos, give a thumbs up, and thanks for supporting the cause, which is basically making this world a better place for us to live in.